So because we are going to talk about disorder of central nervous system, disorder of nervous system, see, all sphingolipidoses, they are related to nervous system. So if you understand the nervous system function, so you don't have to understand in the depth, you know, nervous system. Nervous system is divided into three parts. First is central nervous system, CNS. Second part is peripheral nervous system, PNS. And third part is autonomic nervous system, that controls your, that is sympathetic, parasympathetic, that controls your heart, lungs, visceral organs, that controls your GIT, everything. Autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic and sympathetic. So what is related here? Visceral organ are controlled. So heart is controlled, heart. Okay, your GIT is controlled, your blood pressure is controlled because of this. Now, what is the function of peripheral nervous system? Peripheral nervous system controls, because it carries sensation. The sensory fiber will be there. And then motor, it also has motor fiber, and it also has reflex. So these three are related to peripheral nervous system. Now central nervous system has cortex, cerebral cortex, because of which you think. Cognition, okay, because of you think. It has got some motor controlling system, that is called cerebellum. Cerebellum, it controls motor function. So motor, it has motor function, and it has got your basal stem, brain stem. Okay, brain stem, that controls your locomotion, everything, other locomotion and sensory. This brain stem, all of your brain, actually from brain stem it is connected to cerebral. Anyway, if you categorize this, now why did I say this? Because when you categorize this, you will come to know what you will. When I tell you the central nervous system is affected, then you will understand, okay, cognitive is impaired, and this motor system will also be impaired, and locomotion. When I tell you this peripheral nervous system is involved, peripheral neuropathy, you will understand reflex is affected, sensory system, sensory information is not being properly carried to the central nervous system, motor system is affected. So paralysis will be happen to the hand muscle. So muscle actually contraction will be problem. So if I tell you an autonomic nervous system is affected, heart, you will understand GIT, and then your bladder will have problem. So bladder, okay, automatic urine, urine continence will not be there. So these are the bladder continence will not be there. So these are the actually summary. If you we are going to talk about this new nervous manifestation of neurological manifestation of this disorder, because these are related to nervous system. Most of the disorder related to nervous system. And see, this is the picture. I have got this picture from, this is the snapshot of your first aid. You can see all this disorder. Can you see? These are lysosomal storage disorder, from this to this. And lysosomal storage disorder, you can see sphingolipidoses and mucopolysaccharidosis. Haven't we done mucopolysaccharidosis in our carbohydrate?
Yes, we did.
Yes. So we have already done this mucopolysaccharidosis. Now, among this lysosomal storage disease, we are going to talk about this all disorder. Okay. And this is the metabolism. Here is shown the metabolism. We are going to talk in detail about the metabolism. You can see, you can read yourself later after we complete. This is, you can also consider this as summary. Now you can see from this. So lysosomal sphingolipidosis is like lysosomal disorder, lysosomal storage disorder, like this mucopoly. What does this lysosomal storage disorder means? The cell has lysosome. This lysosome has enzyme. This enzyme will digest sphingolipid. Okay, this sphingolipid will be digested. Old sphingolipid will be digested, and new sphingolipid will be formed. And what will happen if there is no digestion of this sphingolipid, any of the sphingolipid, based on the enzyme, type of enzyme deficiency, the disorder will vary. If enzyme is not deficient, what will happen? This will accumulate. And because it is accumulated, it will send a signal to the cell not to synthesize a new sphingolipid. So, the cell will have very high amount of sphingolipid, but where this sphingolipid is required is deficient, because cell already have very high old type of garbage, which is not cleared, which is not recycled. And that is why ultimately sphingolipid deficiency will happen, opposite will happen. Okay, deficiency will of that sphingolipid will happen. We'll see that. So this is the main pathogenesis of sphingolipidosis. We can see this. This is the main pathogenesis of sphingolipid. I will again tell you this is membrane. Many lysosomes, one cell has many lysosomes. For example, this lysosome has one enzyme deficient. What is that enzyme name? Sphingomyelinase. Sphingomyelinase. This enzyme deficiency causes a disorder called Niemann-Pick disease. What this enzyme digests is sphingomyelin. Okay, because the name is very easy, that is why I've taken this example, sphingomyelin. So what will happen? This is old one. This is old one. Now this has to be degraded. This has to be degraded into actually sphingolipid, sphingosine, and phospholipid, phosphate. So this has to be degraded. But what will happen? This is not degraded. Because this is absent, this is not degraded. It will be high up. If it is not degraded, so from this component, cell has to synthesize new. Cell has to synthesize new sphingolipid. But because of this is accumulated, this will give this pathway a negative signal. Okay, I am sufficient, don't make it. So ultimately there will be deficiency of new sphingolipid. So if any enzyme, lysosomal enzyme, is deficient, okay, if any lysosomal enzyme that catalyzes a particular if this enzyme catalyzing this is deficient, then this will be deficient. Oppositely, paradoxically, it will be deficient because of negative feedback. So we will see this thing in disorders. You can see the first disorder is Tay-Sachs disease. As we have already told you, 6 type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 type of disorders are there. So first disorder is Tay-Sachs disease. Tay-Sachs disease is because of deficiency of this hexosaminidase. Hexosamine, what is hexosamine here? This is hexosamine. Galactosamine is galactose is a hexose sugar. Galactose is a hexose sugar. Amine. So in whole of this ganglioside, you can see only one places you can see hexosamine. If you see the structure of this here, can you see anywhere hexosamine in addition to this? No, you don't see. Do you see? Do you see hexosamine anywhere?
No.
No. So that is why if hexosamine is deficient, this ganglioside is deposited in cell. In lysosome, inside cell, this ganglioside will be deposited. This ganglioside will be deposited. So the enzyme that catalyzes this part will be deficient. So this will be catalyzed, okay, by different. And enzyme, this whole is called GM1. And this in the ganglioside devoid of this is called GM2 ganglioside. So what is accumulated is this. So you can add here. This is ceramide. This is complete. This is ceramide and this is a oligosaccharide containing neuraminic acid. So this whole is called ganglioside. So this ganglioside will be accumulated in this disorder. And as a result, new ganglioside will be deficient. Tissue regeneration will have a problem. So you can see the neurodegeneration, passive neurodegeneration will happen in the nervous tissue because ganglioside is present in nervous tissue. And because of that, you will see the patient will have, this is a very unique finding, cherry red spot in macula, in eye, macula of eye. Cherry red is spot in the macula of eye will appear, and lysosomes will onion peel. We will describe this in very detail. So remember this, and remember this picture. So I have given this picture because Tay-Sachs, remember this, thin people, thin gangster, because gangster is there in this oligosaccharide. That is how you can remember. This is a gangster. Same thing you can remember. This gangster has like very thin type of gangster, and this gangster cannot walk very properly. It has got ataxia. So we will correlate this picture with this. So remember Tay-Sachs by this picture for the time being, by this picture. Now let's talk about this Fabry disease. Fabry disease, remember this is fiber, and remember this molecule is fiber, like this fiber, burning fiber, lighting fiber. And this fiber actually emit light, and that will cause actually pain, this triad. This will cause neuropathy, burn the nerve. It will cause angiokeratosis, means it will cause problem with the blood vessels. Angio means blood vessel. And then hypohidrosis. See, this three, hypohidrosis means low amount of sweating. Their sweating will not be very high. Because of that, temperature of body will be high. So high temperature, it will cause problem, burn your blood vessels, nerve. So you can remember this fiber will burn. So fiber for Fabry, we will correlate this with this. This is like mnemonics, a weird type of mnemonics you must, if you use, it will be very helpful. Now, there are two types of disorder. I told you this, both disorders are called leukodystrophy. Here you can see leukodystrophy. This is also leukodystrophy. This is the name itself has leukodystrophy. So this Krabbe disease is called globoid cell leukodystrophy. What does leukodystrophy means? Leuko means this white matter degeneration. So white matter is present in your central nervous system. It is lipid, nothing but myelin. White matter is myelin. So degeneration of myelin. And I told you this myelin is galactosylceramide. Myelin is galactosylceramide. That is why the enzyme deficient is the enzyme that catabolizes that galactosylceramide. And that is why myelin is deficient. If in some enzyme that catalyzes myelin, that breakdown myelin is absent, then it will cause deficiency in myelin. So these two disorders, remember for the time being, we will elaborate everything. Metachromatic leukodystrophy and this Krabbe disease, they are leukodystrophies. So remember Krabbe disease with this picture, crab. So we will relate this. Now Gaucher disease. So remember this Gaucher with ghost. This is ghost. So remember this is a ghost type of picture. This is a ghost. So remember Gaucher disease with this belly, fat people, and this dysmorphosed, bone is very much dysmorphosed. So we can correlate this with this because this has, Gaucher disease has bone problem. You can see bone crisis is there. Avascular necrosis of bone, femur. So these are related to Gaucher disease. And bone marrow problem, pancytopenia is bone marrow problem. All bone problem. One more thing, hepatosplenomegaly. So if you remember this picture, it will correlate well. Now, Niemann-Pick disease. So Niemann-Pick disease, you can remember a pathological belly, flattened, actually belly is big belly because of pathology, liver, because of liver, hepatomegaly, this belly becomes very big. So this is Niemann-Pick disease. Remember this. Niemann-Pick disease has hepatosplenomegaly. Now, this first disorder, this last and this first, they are very similar. They also have this cherry red spot. They also have cherry red spot. They are different in this only, hepatomegaly only. So we will contrast also. Will you now at least will you remember this picture? Tay-Sachs means this thin people, gangster. Will you remember Fabry means this fiber at least? Will you remember this Krabbe means this and Gaucher this and then Riemann pick this?
Yes.
Yes, at least remember this. Okay. We will elaborate this. Now let's first talk about Tay-Sachs, then we will talk about Niemann. We will compare Tay-Sachs with Niemann also. So now let's see this.